am so humbled, you have no idea, to be up here, this journey that started with my Palestinian immigrant parents. My father, who had to drop out of school in 4th grade, and my mother, who reached 8th grade, came to the United States for something better, for something that seemed impossible at the time. My dad's first real job was at the Ford assembly line in Downriver in Flat Rock. He joined, do you want me to do it now? Oh. He joined the UAW, and we soon became what we call a union family who cherished the responsibility of voting and knew the importance of solidarity. My Yaba, what we dad in Arabic, my Yaba, when I turned 18, he said, you need to register to vote, and then he said, happy birthday. My parents always strived for better opportunities where we didn't have to struggle like they did in war-stricken and poor communities. They gave us more than they can ever know. And in return, they watched their eldest daughter graduate from high school, college, law school, and later be sworn into the United States Congress proudly wearing the Palestinian thobe. And you know they weren't ready for this. They weren't ready for me. And you know what? Instead of it getting easier with hard work and an education, it got more difficult. The harder I worked, the longer the hours, the bigger the sacrifices we were making. It got more difficult to live free of debt. I've made my own American dream by working hard and achieving what my parents couldn't. Some of the hardest days of my life was working full-time while attending classes on the weekend because I couldn't afford to go back to school and not work because I could lose my health insurance. When I had my first son, Adam, I had to bring him to work with me because I couldn't afford childcare. I would nurse Adam right there at my desk, taking calls, meeting deadlines. My emotional health came second because I had to work and be a mom. Sometimes I felt like I could not breathe. My eldest son, Adam, is 14 years old today, and I am still, but I am still paying my student loans, folks. To think that my son will hopefully start going to college in just 4 years, and just now, I'm starting to feel like I can settle, but thinking about I have to get more loans while he has to go to college. Well, I'm still paying mine. When choosing who we want to support for president, when I chose who I wanted to support for president, it wasn't difficult because I looked at it not as a Republican, as a Democrat, as anything, a Congress member, anything. I looked at it honestly. Who do I want to support that will have the future of my 2 sons in their hands? And I couldn't think of anybody but Bernie Sanders who wasn't going to sell them out. He has the courage, the vision, and one of the strongest grassroots movements I have seen to take on corporate greed and college debt and make college free for everyone. Legendary, and I want you to know, legendary Detroit activist Grace Lee Boggs said that transformative change doesn't happen because somebody introduced a bill in Congress or by the grace of someone sitting in the White House. It starts with us, in the streets, in our communities, building movements right here, on the ground, in hand with people directly impacted by injustice. When you are rooted in community, you know in your bones that doing nothing isn't an option, that throwing your hands up and saying that change we deserve is impossible just isn't good enough. I am done, God am I done, with presidential campaigns that are all about personalities or polish. Our country needs people-powered movement that makes sure that it's about us. I want to bring people into this room that isn't with us anymore. And late Mama Lila Cabell Look her up, folks. Her dream, she was a water warrior, and her dream was to one day see water become a human right for all, and about coming into community. And that is possible with Bernie Sanders as our president. I personally know what doing nothing looks like right here in my district. I know what it feels like. We are reminded every day that corporate greed is a disease. It's one of the biggest threats to our democracy and our well-being. All of us are worth fighting for. And unified and together, we are so much stronger than the people who want to see us fail. Too many among us are struggling to live under inhumane healthcare system where you die if you can't afford the bills that let healthcare CEOs live in golden palaces. Seniors who helped build this country are living out their years in poverty, all because we haven't mustered the collective courage in government to insist on a different way. We hear elected officials, I do personally, talk about a lot about the middle class, but not nearly about the P word, poverty, that is killing us. Millions of Americans are expendable to the CEOs who dictate our public policy, and too many of our representatives are complicit, and I say enough. This is a once-in-a-lifetime president. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment in our country to elect someone that won't sell us out. It would feel good to have a president that you didn't have to check him all the time. So I have some instructions for you. Now, all of you might know I'm the eldest of 14. I tend to be a mama bear, but I also have things for you to do, and I need you to do them, please. It's important because 2020 is about showing up for others, folks. It really is, because when you cast that vote, please know that vote isn't just for you. It's for the kids caged at the border. It's for that mother. It's for that mother that doesn't know how she can afford insulin for her daughter, for her children. It's for all of the people now living in poverty. It's for my neighbors right here in Detroit that get their water shut off, their kids taken away the following day. Show up for her. Now, Michigan has changed some laws, so they're going to underestimate us, but the laws have changed for us. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Now you can go in and actually vote early. Tomorrow, some of your clerk offices are open. They're satellite offices. Find them. Vote early. Take somebody with you. I learned early on, work your backyard. Now, I'm not talking about walking down your street, folks. I'm talking about there are people in your family. You know who they are. You know who they are. Now, you want to social shame them like I do my brothers and sisters, you can do that. But mostly what I do, I send that text, I call them. They rely on you. You'll be surprised when I talk to my mother how she was like, wait, Tuesday's election day? I said, Mama, of course it is. So now I have to put on my calendar making sure somebody takes her to the polls. Please work your block. We have 4 days to show them they underestimated us. Tuesday, March 10th, I want you to understand every single one of us is going to need to step up and win this thing. There are people who share our values who have simply never been asked to join the movement. I have talked to them. They come up to me. They said, hey, when is the election? I want to support this because I want universal health care. I want to make water a human right. I want to end poverty in our country. I want education that is equitable. They tell me this all the time. This is when you say, lift your hand for good. We may march, we may donate to causes, but when we lift our hand and we vote, man, our vote is equal to those CEOs. They can try to spend the money, but nothing can replace this amount of people power movement that is going to the polls and voting. So take some friends, promise me you will. I have a voting block in my family with 14 of us and their spouses and so forth. No one's gonna mess with the Tlaib family. But you all gotta work your block, work your backyard, and get people out, please. We deserve a president who understands that the corporate assault on our lives existed way before Trump, folks. And you all know it. And it is going to exist after Trump. Someone who will never back down from fight with the wealthy and the powerful, who will call them out. God, is it liberating when he calls them out and brings our movement to the front yards. Someone who looks at a problem and finds the most transformative solutions, who isn't constrained by the corrupt conventional wisdom of what's possible or worth fighting for. Someone who knows that we are far more stronger together than we are apart. That change comes from our collective will, not from the generosity of the powerful. Someone, and this is important to me as a mother, someone with empathy for young people who are crying out for the future. Someone who knows that things must fundamentally change, that we have to end structural racism. We have to end the structures that are in place that are oppressing all of us. We deserve someone who just simply will not sell us out. I am in awe of the courage and compassion it takes to fight for working families for the decades like Bernie has, and I've only been there for a year. To stand up and take positions that are right regardless of whether they're popular. Bernie has a vision for our country, for the United States of America, where no child goes to sleep hungry. No mother goes to sleep worrying about paying her next rent check. No grandfather skipping medication because he can't afford it. He is bringing a movement of working class people. Don't you feel it? I mean, I feel it just alone in this room. Who are ready to fight for a future we deserve and rid ourselves of the disease of corporate greed. He's winning states all over the country, and he's about to win Michigan.